Another edition of our New Jack Swing podcast interview with myself and Stevie Street. How you doing, Stevie?
I'm very good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. I
It's
know
our
people.
first new artist interview of the new year.
Yes, well, last week, unfortunately, the first one we were supposed to have didn't go according to plan, but we're excited. At least our guest is here tonight. So, yeah. Before we bring her in, I know that you have been following and checking out her mixtape and stuff. So anything just talk about Dre before we bring her in?
I'll be honest, she's new to my ears. I heard the mixtape. Fans of New Jack Swing, 90s hip hop soul, even early 2000s R&B will love this EP. There's something there for everybody on it. I mean, it's exciting that an artist, a newer artist is doing something a bit more up tempo as well. You know, because we're in a lot of trappy type, depressing ballads for the last 5 to 6 years. So listen, let's get her on because I'm
Okay.
excited to talk to her.
Hi,
Yes. Hello. How you
Good
doing?
evening.
good. Good evening.
So I'm out. Both Stevie and I are out over here in the UK, in England. Where are you based?
I'm in Houston.
Okay. Okay. Houston, Texas. So everything seems to be big and large out in Houston, right?
Texas is a hotbed of R&B talent at the moment. I don't know why. Maybe Dria can tell us.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I think the proximity to Atlanta and just the South in general is, the birth of like some really great artists. And I think R&B combines a lot of gospel with a lot of other different genres. And, obviously gospel is in the South. So I think Texas is just really, we have so many large cities, Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. So I think the amount of artists in each one of those large cities is just what's really contributing a large part to the R&B community.
I mean, for such a long time, if you think about music in Texas, it was pretty much Scarface and the Lost. Is it Ghetto Boys?
Ghetto Boys, yeah.
Yes, was Prince. Yeah, so that seemed to have been the main thing. Then we had our guys, H Town, that really then came and put Houston and Texas on the map as well.
Hey, Nnamdi, there's one other thing that Texas is known for as well.
What was that?
It's the
What is-
Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, woo,
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, but when we do talk about music, as I said, they're not as prolific when it comes to on the music side as much as maybe other places. But as I said, it's good to see there's a lot more underground stuff. And um, who inspired you when you got into music?
Oh my gosh, there's a long list. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I can go from like Anita Baker to Stevie Wonder, Boys to Men, Monica, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Lauryn Hill, Erica Badu, India Ari. I mean, the list literally goes on. Like, it's insane.
Did
Aretha
you ever listen to Brownstone?
Brownstone, absolutely, yes.
Because I'm not comparing you, but when I hear your vocal, it reminds me of what was the lead singer of Brownstone called?
Nikki?
Is it
Nick.
Yeah, that kind of tone to it. That
Oh, well, that's an honor. Yes, thank you. That's an honor. Yes, I did grow up in Brownstone.
Yeah, but think about it though. Because if you think about myself and Stevie, we're of a generation where right in the middle of in the 90s, that's when we were, that was our music scene. And you're much younger than us. You must have been, I would assume, the like 2000s upwards that you might have been listening to. What was it? So, what was the music that you really got into then?
Well, I don't know if we're that far apart. How old are you?
I'll get into ages here.
Yeah, but I was born in the 70s, and
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah.
So, 2000s, gosh, I think that would have to be like gosh, I mean, Mary J. Blige.
Wow, Mary's still married. I mean,
Oh my gosh. I was also into pop too. I was into like Backstreet Boys and
okay.
Think and Green Day and
Oh,
um uh gosh,
well,
there's so many. Like and then
okay.
I have 90s artists, that kind of branched over into the 2000s and
Hmm.
Biggie was in the 2000s too
Who's
and
that?
or 99 or 90s.
Who's that?
Biggie, Biggie
Yeah, no,
Small.
he was. Yeah, because he passed away in '97. So yeah, he was in the '90s. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
so I'm like a blend. I'm a blend. 90s and 2000s, that was a big shaping of my musical history and just me as a writer and an artist as well. But my mom, like, oh my gosh, my mom like introduced me to so many different types of genres.
okay.
Like, ugh.
Yeah. Where did you get to start singing then?
Where did I start singing? My dad's a singer, so I think genetically I got it that way. Um, and then I started about 5 years old. I honestly don't know why. I sang at a talent show. My first song I sang was Whitney Houston's the what is it? I believe the children are future.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember singing then, and then as I grew up, maybe like junior high, I started discovering that I really, really loved music. Like 13 years old, I started writing poetry. Wrote songs from scratch with no music, and just started studying people. Started studying who was writing, and started studying who the popular artists at the time, and yeah, I just really I went to performing arts school, so I just kind of like dove deep into music in all different ways. I
Was
don't know.
your dad an artist?
Huh?
Was your father, was he an artist or just like sing around the house or the church
My
sort of
brother
thing?
was, I would say he was an artist. He was just, he used to write his own music and he would go to the studio and he would make his own demos. He was also an actor. He did a lot of extra work in some major shows back when I was younger.
What's his first name?
Curtis.
Curtis. Curtis
Mhm.
Thornton. I thought it might have been. I thought it can't have been Fonzie Thornton.
No.
That would have just blown me away if it was. Fonzie Thornton worked with Luther Vandross and
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and that's important. No, that's my married name. Yeah, but my dad, he actually he started doing a lot of karaoke circuit. So he would go and just perform a lot of karaoke circuits and win all of the competitions.
So you've got his vocal genes then.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
But then, did you ever consider? And how, I mean, the journey to try and become your own a recording artist in your own right. How did that happen?
Oh my gosh. Like those times where I was just listening, I'm in my teen years, just listening to music and studying who the writers and producers were. That's when I really, really, really knew that's what I wanted to do. And I carried that on after I graduated high school, early years of college. I carried it on. I consistently wrote. I joined a girls group for a short amount of time, and I just recorded demos all the time. I just really took charge of my music career. Just deep down inside of me, I'm just like, this is what you're meant to be doing. So,
Mm.
I've known that since I was a kid, and I'm carrying it on as an adult.
But then, did it? How? I mean, how accessible did becoming a recording artist become? Because it's one thing to have the dreams, another thing to say, well, how do you realize the dream unless you want to be doing clubs and stuff, and be a performer.
Yeah.
What was in your mind as to where how you wanted to get to where?
Honestly, I just kind of went with the flow. I know my dad, a lot of the songs that I listened to his were things that he just went to like some studios and just recorded them. Did I know where the studios were? No. Did I know how he did it? Absolutely not. But when I graduated high school, I just had this drive inside of me that just said, learn what you need to learn, like keeping my eyes open. So I just started searching out studios. I started, I didn't have tracks, so I would write music from scratch. I would write my own melodies, and just, hold on to them until I met a producer, or I met a bunch of producers. I would use a lot of internet, like MySpace music, and
MySpace. Good.
yeah, and just meeting people on those platforms, and just finding studios on those platforms. I've just been a go-getter. I really honestly, I can't say I had the formula. I just have always just been a go-getter. If I don't know the answers, I go find them, and whatever little money I had, I spent them on taking pictures and printing up CDs and
Oh.
studio time. Honestly,
Did you ever then try to go and follow the path of being signed, or did you? Were you okay? What? How did that go?
I did. A friend of mine, I went to a dinner party, maybe about early 20s, and I met this man who knew the president of Atlantic Records. So he knew Craig Coleman and Andrew Luffman. And he introduced me to those two guys. And, for me, I've always known that the one thing that's always stuck with me is always that I've always wanted to have creative control. And I've learned that. I learned that from India Avery, just kind of watching her as an artist. And but I knew, like, I still wanted to have a record deal. It'll be okay, but I have to have creative control. But anyways, still pursued it. So I connected with Craig Coleman and Andrew Luffman at Atlantic Records, and I constantly stayed in contact with them. I printed up demos. I asked for permission to send them over to him. To send them over to them, I had to mail them and check back in and email. And we would go back and forth, and oh yes, we got your demo. Oh, it sounds good. Keep at it. And on literally for years, like years, I would just keep doing stuff, and I would send it over to them, and it would always be, that's cool, that's great. Keep going and try again. And it was just like, what, forget it. And then I ended up meeting my husband. My husband now, who's also my production and writing partner. And he's like the other half of what I was missing musically. And so he really just took the reins and just allowed me to be independent, like just create my own. And he also invested in me, he invested in me monetarily, and he forced me and drove me to invest in myself monetarily as well. And I just ended up being an independent artist. And the more I got into this industry, I started realizing how this business actually works. And it's not, it's not all it's what it's cracked up to be signed to a label. And if I can do it myself independently, then that's what I'm going to do. So that's the journey I'm on right now.
I guess the question then becomes for you: what is the expectation of being a recording artist in 2024? Um, Back in the 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s, when the labels were the only place where you can release music and to sell them, in vinyl or CD or tape, you had to go for a label or the distribution to get it out there, to get it on the radio and stuff. Things have changed now where social media and the internet has made it possible for you to drop an album today and everyone in the world can hear it.
Yes.
They have access to it, doesn't mean they can get to hear it. The I don't, it's not the quality, the value of music is quite different than it was when I grew up. When I grew up, to buy an album, you invested in the artist, you bought the album, the CD. It was an experience to get a brand new album and then listen to it and explore it. Now when it's all digital, it doesn't feel, it seems as if I can get anything anyhow. So
Yeah.
then I wonder, for artists who aren't backed by studios and aren't getting financial support from their tours, what is the incentive to record, spend money, invest in recording and creating music, when it's either going to be hard to get people to listen to it, or even if they do, they can pretty much pick it up for free? How does it? What's the incentive now to be a recording artist today?
What is the incentive? I think it starts with why you're doing it.
Yeah.
each individual artist has to ask themselves, why are you doing it? Are you doing this for money? Well, then if you're doing this for money, or what money are you investing to make money? If Are you doing this because you absolutely love music and music is your therapy for you and you just want to, express yourself? Okay, so if you're just going to do that, what are you going to get out of it, and how is it going to work for you to be sustainable? Or even maybe if it's not even your career, like if you're not expecting this to be something that brings you in a paycheck, like making those decisions as to why you're doing it. For me, it's one, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm destined to do this, and I'm supposed to inspire people. I know that I'm supposed to inspire people, and I'm supposed to help people through my writing. Through my writing for other people, it's a way for me to help people express themselves in a way that they can't express themselves. Being able to take their life or their story or their message and being able to turn it into a song and allowing them to freely express themselves. That is something that I can do to help. So knowing that that's my purpose, now I have to figure out how can I monetarily make this work. So it's just getting creative. Everything's about getting creative. I think as music continues to evolve, the music industry continues to change, the way that people listen to music continues to change. We have to continue to change as artists and get innovative and get creative and look outside of the box and the things that you're doing to reach an audience, or the way that you're distributing your music. Because we know that if we separate ourselves from record labels and we become independent artists, then we have to still function in ways that record labels do. And record labels function in marketing. The marketing is really big for them. So as independent artists, we have to understand that we're going to have to put money into marketing, or we're going to have to figure out creative ways to get marketing and get ourselves out there. So it's still a business at the end of the day. And I think that artists just have to figure out what they're doing it for, how they're going to make it successful for themselves, and being creative.
I mean, to add to your question, Nnamdi, because you're asking her what is the incentive, I would say not, how many people are blessed with the ability to be able to sing and to write a song. I can't do neither. I suppose if I put a lot of effort, I maybe could attempt to write a song. I have this ability to like spot an artist or just hear a song and go, you need to hear this or whatever. I can just spot something straight away. Like I heard what you was doing and I just spotted it straight away. Whereas you can sing, you can write a song, you have to do something about that. It doesn't mean you're going to get a deal with Atlantic Records, but people need to hear your voice. If you can sing, and if I can hear and it touches me, then it's going to touch other people as well. So you just got to find a way. It's like you say, you've got the internet now.
Yeah.
But it's not. There's nobody really distributing and put. You've got to push yourself, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing is, I like your hustle. You were dropping comments saying, about the show or R&B artists. I want to make it, R&B artists are not, for me, they're not pushing themselves enough, I think. I mean, I listen to a lot of West African Afrobeats artists, and they're pushing themselves like they're going to die the same day, like it's their last day, like they ain't going to live tomorrow. So their hustle is but that's what you're competing with.
Yeah.
And R&B artists are like, some of them can't even be bothered to turn up to do interviews. That's how, that's the level it's getting to. It's like they just can't be bothered, which I'm astounded by, really. But yeah, bless your hustle.
Thank you.
Can I come on the show, or can we? I was like, wow, bless. I said that to you, didn't I, Nnamdi? Bless this girl's hustle. Let's get her on. The audacity. Just, can I come on the show? I thought, well, yeah, you've asked. Why not?
Thank you.
The mixtape is pretty amazing to me.
Thank you.
My ears, I've been going through a lot of your back catalogue as well, especially on YouTube, and I can see over the last like 2 or 3 years your progression. I think your production sound's got I think you really, you, like you say, maybe this husband you've got has really give you a far better production sound. But I
Yeah.
can definitely see your progression over
Oh,
the few
thank you.
years.
Thank you.
Hear it, which we'll come on to that because there's a few of your songs that I would like to talk about actually that
Okay.
are not on this mixtape. But anyway, Nnamdi, what was you going to say?
No, no. I just wanted to get. I wanted to get your because Stevie has made a very valid and important point about the whole marketing part. Afrobeat artists are really out there, really pushing themselves. Hip hop artists do the same, and yeah, what? How do you separate yourself and get yourself heard as an R&B artist, knowing that actually, Puffy says R&B is dead, but I think that what they're saying is it's taking a back seat, um, and our R&B artists aren't really as important as they used to be. So how are you then trying to navigate through all of that?
Um, I still really believe, well, one, I just got off of 100 song challenge.
What's that? What do you mean?
So my partner, who he does everything else, but he's also like a tech guru. So he has figured out the marketing. He's got marketing partners, and they figure out how we can get my music in front of the world. And so one of the things was, just having enough music out in the market. You know what I'm saying? You can have one, two, you can have 10, you can have 15, 20 songs. Um, but at the end of the day, if you can flood the market with a lot of music, then your music is going to get spread, especially with Spotify, because we noticed that Spotify categorizes people into different groups of music, and so, like, you may sound like Georgia Smith, or you may sound like Meg The Stallion, or you may sound like Chloe Haley, So having a lot of songs in the market, flooding the market allows Spotify to distribute your music to so many different fan bases, because there's so many different types of music and types of artists. So yes, we've been really flooding the market. I did 100 songs that I put out there so that there's something for everyone to like, all over the world. Also, I really still believe in organic growth. I believe
Mm.
in face to face with people. So I spend a lot of time in the city. I spend a lot of time supporting local artists. I spend a lot of time out at local events. I travel to different cities to get a vibe of what their scene is and try to get shows in other markets. I really truly believe that getting in front of people is and bringing them back to the internet is important
Mm.
as well. So just kind of working both angles, and just getting creative. I've built some partnerships. Brand partnerships are super important. I built a partnership with Selva Ray Rum, which is part owned by Bruno Mars. I noticed their brand, and I just was like, you know what? I ended up meeting their brand manager for Texas, and I've connected with her. We've been partnered for the last 3 or 4 years. So anytime I do a show, she gives me bottles of Selva Ray, and I'm doing cross brand promotion. I'm doing, if I'm promoting a song, I'm doing make drinks on Instagram using my music, and they're reposting to their audience. So then I'm expanding. So these brand partnerships are expanding into another group of audience, and people that can hear your music. So that's, it's just partnering and getting out there.
Then again, what about performing, doing shows? I mean, how often are you able to do those?
Absolutely. I have a show coming up actually in a couple weeks at the Foundation Room, House of Blues. I do a lot of shows at the House of Blues.
Oh, is that still good? Because back when I was in the States, the House of Blues was it, but now it seems as if it's the City Winery and Yossi that seems to be more prevalent among R&B artists. So is House of Blues still relevant, or what? Such doesn't seem to be as popular.
It is in Houston. It is. It's doing really well. I mean, the main restaurant is always has amazing artists. The main venue has amazing artists. So I do the Foundation Room, which is the members only club, and I just host shows. And we're doing a mixtape listening party, and Yeah, I host my own shows. I create opportunities for myself. I mean, you see, if I see somebody's got a podcast, I'm going, hey, can I be on your podcast? Hey, can I perform at your festival? Hey, you looking for artists to do this and that? I create opportunities, and that's a huge thing. You know, if you don't create opportunities, then you're just sitting back waiting for
The
opportunities.
hustle is real, Nnamdi. The hustle is real with Dria.
It is real. I'm telling you.
I mean, no, you have to understand. Yeah, by hustling, Stevie has two radio shows, one R&B and one Afrobeats. And I think in your case, Stevie, you get the people hustling to be on your show. In my case, I have to hustle to get some of these legacy artists to be on for me to be on my show. So yeah, that's the key. You can't just wait and sit back. You have to create opportunities for yourself.
You do.
Yes.
We push an artist in Dallas actually who's doing, you know, she's doing the same thing as you. Obviously, music is R&B, but it's slightly different sounding. But the way she pushes herself reminds me of you as well. You know what I mean?
Really?
It's called Paula Ye. She's in Dallas in Texas.
Paula Ye?
Paula Ye, yeah.
Oh, I need to connect with her. So
But she's all over the place pushing her music, just like you are in Houston. There pushing your. We'll have to introduce you.
Yes, please.
You know, because she puts on like talent things on in over there. Maybe you could get over there and do a show.
Yeah.
Maybe you could get her over to do a show in. See, a bit connecting the dots here, Nnamdi. Connecting the dots.
Yes. I mean, as I said, most of us being big fans of '90s artists. Have you ever thought about collaborating with any '90s artists?
I have thought about that. The closest I've gotten to it is actually I'm working with Ja Born. I don't know if you guys know who the producer Ja Born is.
Rings a bell. That ring just.
Yeah, Erykah Badu, on, and like
Okay.
basically started his career with Erykah Badu, and so I'm working with him. So that's like an authentic sound, but I really would love to. That's a great idea, like to really push for that because that brings the authenticity and the sound of future music together. I love that.
I mean,
Yeah.
who would you think about? I mean, if you thought about somebody that you'd like to collaborate with from the '90s or so, who?
Erykah Badu.
Well, yeah, she's okay. Yeah. People like Erica. I think even India. I read that. I think India that they. Yeah, you will get them. But yeah, I mean, anyone else that you think about or?
Candy Burris.
Candy from Escape.
Yes, I would love to collaborate with her. That would be a really awesome. I think that would be dope. She's a hit maker, so.
Yeah. What? Any males? What about male?
Oh my God. My favorite group of all time is Boys to Men.
Wow.
Boys to Men. Who else?
Sean Stockman, he's out there. He's pushing. You know, he's pushing himself all the time, making tracks. You could do.
Oh, Solo, yeah.
Yeah, you could do something with him. That'd probably work.
Oh, I like
If you was
that.
up for it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to your mixtape
Yeah.
because the track me and Nnamdi are raving about samples a big New Jack Swing record that we kind of grew up with. We just want to know, you know, where you'd heard like the original sample that it's come from. Was it who produced I Like It?
Oh, I like it. Yes, that's my partner Chris. He produced it. Yeah.
So does he know? I guess he knew the original Tammy Lucas record then.
Oh yeah. I mean, you want to talk 90s and 2000s, this guy is the guy. Like he was in a guys group back then. Like he started producing back then. Like he knows the history of the music industry. So yeah, he pulled the samples, he pulled the vibes, the biggest thing was like, we wanted to make people want to dance again. And he wanted to, feel the drums and just, feel good. So yeah.
I'm so happy he did so happy he did that.
Yeah.
You guys should try and get Tammy to be on the remix.
Who?
You should try and get Tammy Lucas on the remix.
Oh. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Remixes for the mixtape would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I wonder if that can happen because she did tell me she saw. Yeah, okay. She did tell me that she heard. I wonder if it's your track that she said somebody did a remake of her like. So I wonder if it is the one that you had. I'll ask her.
I mean, the track that I think I first heard from you was it Disrespect.
Oh yeah.
I mean, again, that's a big sound. That kind of
Yeah.
it reminds me of A Marie from the early 2000s.
Mhm.
It's got that
Yeah.
kind of vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah. The A. Marie was definitely inspiration for this album.
I mean, but the mixtape as a whole, it just reminds me of like albums that I used to buy because you are getting some up tempos, you're getting a few mid tempos, and you're getting a few ballads. So it's
Yeah.
not, it keeps your attention. I'm not there going through an album from of like 18 ballads and a load of interludes that I'm falling asleep to. So
Right.
you do a really good job here.
Thank you.
People need to hear it, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, but how? I mean, I'm sure you track numbers. I mean, how do you? How is it doing, and what's success for you?
We released them as singles first, and then we released the mixtape as a compilation after that. Some of the singles are doing extremely well, like "Hype It Up," "Hype You Up" is doing really well, and then what else is doing good? "Disrespect" was another one that was doing really well. "I Don't Need 'Em," which is the last song, which is the ballad, is doing really well. So I mean, we're just looking at the numbers, and some of them are skewing higher than others, but everything's getting streamed, which is really cool.
You've got a few rappers on here as well, I've noticed. Who are
Yeah.
the rappers on it?
Ollie Vegas. He's on he's on Like That, which is the second half of the first song, Weekend. And then he's on um If It Ain't Real. And then I have the Hoodies, which are they're both from the East Coast. But the Hoodies, they're a nephew and uncle. They're really hot in New York right now. So they're on Disrespect.
I mean, you say you're influenced by Erykah Badu and India Irie, but this is very much an hip hop soul type of project, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It couldn't be any further than further away from neo soul.
Oh yeah. But I have another project that is more of like R&B, more R&B. It's called what is it? Oh my gosh, love. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I have another one coming after this one, and then I have a one that I'm working on called the Eve Gene, which is going to be more of a neo soul R&B, like Erykah Badu, that type of lane vibe.
There is a track that I kind of missed this last year. I'm just catching up with it now, called Worth It, which I really like as well. When did you release that one?
Worth It, that was in 2023. I'm not sure what month it was, but we did that one. That was a custom song made for Serena Williams. She did behind the scenes Super Bowl. Oh, so February of last year. So behind the scenes Super Bowl commercial that she did with Michelob. So we did the music for the behind the scenes for that one.
That could have made the mixtape. It's still got that kind of, it's like a mid tempo. It's got, and there's one I think you did. I don't know, it was a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, and I just want to ask you about the song. You did a song called Everything, which seems pretty deep. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So Everything was done with a producer called Focus 3 Dots, and he works very closely with Dr. Dre. And he was going through some things during the pandemic, and we were going through some things during the pandemic. My mom had passed away. He had a son that passed away during that time. Basically, the whole country, the whole world had lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the song was just a reflection on just life, everything. Like, what would you does any of this all really matter now that it's all been taken away from all of us? You know, when we lose family members, when we lose money, when we lose all these things, like, you know, how does it affect your life? Like, is it important? So we just really reflected on that and wrote that song with him. Yeah, and it's a beautiful song. I love that song.
So listeners there, go on YouTube, type in Dria Thornton and check out everything, as well as the mixtape and Worth It, which are a few good highlights.
Well,
You've done quite a lot of stuff.
yeah.
You know?
But you talked about 100-song challenge. So how far are you now with this challenge?
We achieved it. We got 100 songs.
Wow.
Over how long?
It's been over the span of the year, 2023.
That's crazy.
Recording and releasing 100 songs?
Well, we recorded some, and some were already in my catalog. I've been writing for about 10 years in the industry, so I have a lot of songs in the catalog that we just decided to release. Like, he created a volume, so we have please listen to my demo volume 1, please listen to my demo volume 2, please listen to my demo volume 3, and we just took songs from the catalog and just released them out there. It's like, listen to my demo, and then some of them were released as singles, some of them were newly created, and the mixtape was newly created. And yeah, so it was a combination of just pooling a bunch of songs, doing collaborations with other artists. I did a collaboration with Matt Corman. I'm doing some more stuff with Ollie Vegas. I did some stuff with Ollie Vegas. So yeah, combination.
But does it devalue? Because I always remember Prince when he started to flood the market with songs because he tried to get it out of his Warner catalog, and I think it had a negative effect on some of us who just thought, "Well, it was just too much music." How does that? How is it for yourself? Just if you put it out there, people thinking, "Wow, we've just enjoyed this, and now we've seen more." I know you mentioned about the whole algorithm and stuff, but are you seeing it, the positivity of releasing that much content in 1 year, or has there been a difference?
Oh, I've seen a phenomenal positive outcome from doing that. You know, obviously algorithm, but also, you know, I'm a new artist. I've been around for a while. I've been writing for a while. I've been singing
Mm.
background for a while. But as an artist, I need people to discover me. So the more music I put out there, the more it gets spread out. I've been seeing my streaming numbers increase. I think you said it was like 5,000% in the year.
Mm.
Um, my monthly listeners, my followers, my interaction on social media. I've been connecting social media with, you know, my streaming platforms. I mean, it's been phenomenal. Like, I haven't seen these kind of number. Like, these are record numbers for me. So it's working.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as I said, that's it, and I guess that's the interesting thing when we do talk to new artists where there's no legacy name. You know, it's not like you had a massive hit in the '90s and now you're just like touring off of that to create your own identity
Right.
today independently. It must mean being different. And I remember interviewing Kevin Kevin Ross. He was on Motown and then he's gone independent, and he was talking about how, you know, how he's able to make money as an independent artist today by doing shows and partnerships and merchandise and tying a lot of things in. You just can't just release music and just sit back and hope for the best. You've got to work extra hard,
You
but
do.
not rely just solely on the music. Sometimes it could be the market, the platform to open doors for you to do other things. Um, what about investing in visuals, the videos? Do you see that not being as important right now?
I don't see that as important right now. We did it before. I do have visuals, but I don't have any new visuals. And what we're noticing is, you know, short form content, you know, performing better, you know, than having full length videos. And so that's what I'm going to create for a lot of the music going forward is just short form content, maybe a hook and a verse, or maybe some cool visuals with the song or whatever. Like I'm still working on creatively how to present those types of visuals. But yeah, we're not going to invest in doing full length music videos anymore just because for what?
Really, it's you can, you know, an artist can release 100 songs or 100 tracks that are crossing so many genres, but at the end of the day, what people want it, what resonates with people, it's the song. The song is like you just gotta make that one song that connects with people, and you're living off that forever.
Yeah.
That one hit, one great hit song. You know, I have in the past, I've seen artists try to do multiple type of genres, and you're like, well, what are you? Who are you as an artist? We don't know who you are, because you're doing rock 1 minute, then you're doing jazz, then you're doing disco, and it's like it's hard to. But just give us that song. I mean, you know, I think that's the most that's what I tell all artists, that work on your songs. Really, you've got good songs.
Yeah.
I think, you know, if an artist can just make that, it's hard. I can't write a song.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to connect, you know, that 1 million people go, wow, and just want to buy or listen to all the time.
Yeah.
Into it. If you write that song,
I think
and you will.
What that song could be, you know, we have to put music out there for people to tell us what that song could be. For me, my biggest song is "Baby I Got You." "Baby I Got You" has, I don't know, it's pushing. It's pretty close. It's pushing almost a million streams
Wow.
across platforms. And it's still one of my best performing songs to this day. And
what is it about that song that's got 1 million? What is it? Is it the production? Is it the lyrics? What is it about it? Do you think that?
honestly, I think so. We've been trying to figure some things out. Honestly, I think the biggest boost was Serena Williams is one of my best friends, and
What?
yes, and
Okay.
and but that's not to say she supports everything that I do. But you know, that particular song she fell in love with, just like a bunch of it. And she said, people need to hear this song. So she really went in and really helped promote that record. She created a Nike spot with her working out and stuff with the song, and that really expanded my audience. And that was back in like 2017. It really expanded my audience. It really expanded my streaming. People started discovering my music. And so since then, we've been trying to figure out, okay, well, what was it? Obviously, we know it was Serena. What was it about that song? But a lot of feedback was that it had like a neo soul vibe. It gave them Erykah Badu. It gave them R&B. So and it was catchy. So I think it was a combination of all those things. So now what we're just trying to figure out is, you know, incorporating Serena, like "Worth It," the one you talked about. "Worth It" did really well. It's one of the best streaming songs, and she's associated with that. But then I also have songs that are not associated with her. And so what we're trying to figure out is just throw them all out there. You know, you've got all these kinds of genres, all these kinds of vibes, all these kinds of ways that I can do my voice, all these kinds of different sounds, and let's see what's performing the best. And then let's start leaning towards that. But we have to put the net out there to catch, you know, to see what people really like me, like where I sit.
Well, it seems to me what we've gathered from this conversation over the last 5 minutes, and what you've been telling us for the last half hour, is I think, you know, your influence sounds like you're influenced heavily by neo soul. I'm not saying you got to make like stripped down, bare bottom neo soul, but I can see what vibe you're talking about here, and this mixtape isn't that. But I'm not complaining. Nnamdi, you know, we're not complaining, but we've established here a couple of tracks that seem to resonate with your listeners, and you know, really hit quite a wide listener. I think that's the route you need to go.
Neo soul.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's more timeless, and that's the one thing of that when the neo soul situation came about, everyone could vibe to it.
It's still timeless.
Yeah. When I interviewed Dalvin from Jodeci, he has a solo project out, and he had a a track called "Silly Me," and he had some girl he found on Instagram who does poetry, so like Flowtree. She just talks over music, and he saw her on Instagram. He invited her to do something on that stuff. And I just said to him, this reminds me of Love Jones. This reminds me of, it just takes me to a vibe where that type of chill, relaxed stuff. It doesn't seem as if and we don't think about somebody else. We don't think of Jill Scott or Erica, but we just listen to the music and we listen to the vibe, and we can relax to it. Drink a bottle of glass of wine and just be chilled and not and so there's something about neo soul which which it seems timeless, but we don't get too much of it. And the ones we do get, we have people trying to be like somebody else. So yeah, trying to incorporate yourself in that would be
the
something.
problem with neo soul is it's not a big seller.
Yeah,
not a huge seller, is it? This is
Yeah, because where I'm hearing neo soul or something that feels like neo soul is I listen to a lot of UK artists. Georgia Smith, Cleo Soul, what's her name? Oh crap, what is her name? Starts with an E-M, Mariba. Who else? They have that R&B neo soul still there. It's like stuck in a.
There's a bit of an organic instrumentation feel to the music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful. So it's there, and maybe I just need to move to London.
Funny, what they're calling that now, they call it future soul. They don't call it neo. They call it this very trending. They call it future soul. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You could actually put, I don't know, Worth It into that bag, but that's the kind of vibe that we call it over here.
Yeah, it's accessible to, I mean, we still have stations like the BBC which aren't controlled by corporate, so you can have a generation, quite a bit of music in there, but it's not offensive. It's accessible to all cultures. That type of stuff, so it can get celebrated. So it's if you do use instead of using neo soul, try tagging future soul and seeing how far how far it goes. I mean, do you do any live lounge? I mean, which is playing with a band and using that as content, visual content.
I perform with a band. Right now, I'm performing with a DJ. But I do have some content. But that's a good idea, like live lounge type of thing with instrumentation. The only thing with me is like my tracks are like they're so good. Like I feel like playing with the band takes away from the highlight of the track.
Most artists are trying to highlight their voice and the vibe, and you're trying to get the production more so.
Yeah, well, I don't want to take away from the production because I think the production and what I do with the production go really well together. And I think a band, it has its moments, it has its time, but yeah. But I like your idea.
Well, yeah, it could be on a plug session.
Yeah.
But it could be actually some of your favorites across the 100 tracks that you released. So it wouldn't just be the mixtape. It could just be the ones that fit that, the sort of the future soul tracks that you're featuring and stuff like that.
Y'all need to be on the team. Hold on. Wait a minute. Love your ideas. Oh my gosh, I love this.
No, but as I said, and then even with so it doesn't take away, because that's, as I said, it's the authenticity of an artist that people fall in love with. That's why R&B in 2023 was the third biggest concert draw in the US after rock and pop. So R&B overtook country and hip hop was far behind. And that's because people And actually, a lot of the big Live Nation and Ticketmaster, they didn't think R&B was going to make money until they saw the guys black I think it was called Black Concert Promoters. There was a collective of black promoters who came together, and they put out the New Edition tour, both the Legacy tour and the Culture tour. And then they did the Maxwell and Joe tour, and they did a number of tours. And all of a sudden, SWV and all those tours, the revenue drew all of a sudden was just narrowly behind pop. So all of a sudden, Live Nation is like, okay, it looks as if we can invest in R&B again, because it looks as if there's a market for them and the venues are going to get bigger. But people are going to listen to, they're not too keen on a lot of the music that's been released, because we can't hear the mumble singing and stuff like that, and everything sounds the same. So they go back to default, what we listen to, what we're familiar with. But then they do celebrate good artists who can bring and tap into that emotion. And if you've got the ability to do that through, sometimes a live band and showcase in that sense, it's like, we need to see her, we need to invest in her. So that's always an option.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
No, I'm just looking at America. It's like they seem to be interested in, what's it? How do you pronounce her name? Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the who's the other girl as well? That
Summer Walker.
Yeah, it seems to be a mix of R&B, neo soul. I've noticed some of them are including 90s kind of melodies, samples in the music. So that formula seems to be working. But it's our hopes of you being a new Jack Swing artist have gone out the window. You know what I mean? But that's old guys, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's what, if you're right, if you get the best when you're writing your songs and your vocals over that kind of feel and it's working, then let's see. We can only put ideas out there, can't we?
Well, I'm gonna have to send you guys some of the stuff from the Eve Jean project. When I get it mixed, I'll send it over to you guys, and you guys can tell me what you think about it, because it's really diving into more of that neo soul vibe.
What can we expect over the next 6 months then? Anything you could tell us that you've got lined up for next 6 months, say?
Next 6 months. Oh, let's see. Of course, I've got the mixtape. I'm scheduling more mixtape listening sessions within the city. I am doing a festival in May here, focusing on mental health for artists and creatives. What else? I am working on a couple other festivals as well. One in Atlanta, and then I think they're both in Atlanta, actually. So I just want to just travel and just keep pushing the songs, and I'm working with I'm working with a bunch of artists, like on writing projects as well. But as me as an artist, I'm just going to keep going out and performing and pushing the mixtape and just continue to work on the Eve Jean.
Could you talk to me about that, the project, the mental health with artists? What's that about?
Oh yes, it's what is it called? I'm horrible with names. Let me see. It's Composed. It's called Composed, and it's put on by it's a young woman out here in Houston who is about mental wellness, and she believes that music and poetry really can heal people and speak to people and help with their mental wellness. But so she's doing that in a park here, really big park here. She's expanding it. I think she's getting Tank and the Bangas to headline it, and a few other local artists here. I don't want to tell all her stuff because she doesn't have anything lined up. But yeah. That's a really important one for me too, because during the pandemic, I spent a lot of time. I'm part of this community called Artistology, and it's run by a wonderful, beautiful angel by the name of Tammy McCrary. And she created this amazing platform for artists to be able to express themselves, to go through, we did a lot of spirit work. We did a lot of, self discovery and just getting to know who we were and working through a lot of the things that artists need to work on before we present ourselves to the whole world. So yeah, I'm excited to do this festival because of that, because I know how much mental wellness has been an impact on me as an artist as well.
I'm a mental health therapist,
I see
and
that.
yeah, but not only that, I've got the other channel I have is called Halftime Chat, and so all the '90s artists that I interview, a big part is them being able to express and talk about their mental health
Mhm.
in a way to break the stigma about mental health within the Black community, because we're least likely to access it. So that was a big part of actually setting it up and getting them all to express and talk about the challenges they had at the height of their career. Whether some people felt like suicide and some people just felt like their whole identity was wrapped up in their music, and then being able to come out of that. So that's a big part of what I try and celebrate. So it's good to see that there is a growing movement among you guys.
Yeah, it's important.
Yes. So I think just before we wrap up, one of the things that somebody mentioned a day or two ago said, "Hey, it would be great when you have artists who are new artists to be able to give them a platform to do like a live lounge so that people could watch in and stuff, and then be able to say, oh, so because one thing to have a new artist show up and talk, but it's like, well, and then we'll go look for your music, but they want to be able to connect it too. So hopefully, if it's possible, if either you want to play a backing track and sing, or maybe get a guitarist and you're singing, being able to do that so that you can showcase yourself to a different audience. That would be something that, if you ever opt for it, that would be something we'd love to do.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I would love to.
Okay, so you just said absolutely. So I'm not sure what would you rather do. Would you rather just play a backing track and then sing through some of your songs, or what would you do? What would you?
Whatever. I mean, I can do either one. It just depends on what kind of vibe you want. I can do either one. I have some instrumentalists that I work with, musicians that I work with here in Houston as well. Um, so I can do either one.
Stevie, what do you think would work if she?
Well, if you pop $250,000 in her account, then I'm sure sure anything performing live wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, but because I mean, as in a way, when you are trying to connect to just a wider network of people who can who would like, oh, okay, from around the world, and then they're like watching you perform a verse and a hook of a track and talking about it, because what will happen is you'd probably perform one track and then a verse and a hook, and we'll say, so what about this? What was the background of that? And you say, yep, and then you after next, and then all of a sudden it's just stuff to because it's part of your marketing, it's part of you getting your stuff
Listen,
out there.
I'd like it to turn up live on a live wearing a pair of MC Hammer gold pants doing I like it. Who's the running man?
I can see that.
Yeah.
You cross colours on and
But I guess it'll be just around when you're about to promote something big, so then you could, it would be a good time to be able to think about that. So if you have some dates in mind, if you're thinking of, no, well, you don't have to tell us now, but you could think, in come March, I want to drop this EP, I want to drop this stuff. Then we can then start looking at trying to really push, a live lounge sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you know, and I think it'd be what is the most convenient thing for you. So if you prefer doing a backing track and stuff, or if you prefer getting somebody performing, but it also has to be sound wise, because I had a group who performed, but unfortunately the feedback wasn't great. So they had the whole band and they were performing, but the sound feedback wasn't great. So
Yeah.
it'd be something to think about. You know, you don't have to rush and think about a date now, but I think that could be sort of a good opportunity, because people do want to be able to celebrate and invest in new artists. But I think having a sort of a taster would be helpful.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll let you know.
Yes. Okay. So Stevie, as we wrap up, any final thoughts?
Yeah, go and check out Dria's mixtape. That's all I gotta say. It's, you know, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah. And if people are trying to follow you, Dre, where would they catch you?
Instagram at Dria DRIA underscore Thornton THORNTON. Spotify Dria Thornton. YouTube Dria Thornton.
Yeah.
Across the board, everywhere.
Why the difference in Instagram? Would
Oh, the
that
Dria underscore Thornton.
Yeah.
I think someone had taken. Someone had Dria Thornton. There was a reason why we couldn't do it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. But guys, we want to thank you guys who are listening in. As I said, this is going to live, but there are other people who are going to be watching it later on. Um, I mean, as I said, over 100 tracks out there. So it is, and you know, people start saying, "Oh, it's not like the '90s. We don't really get good music." Yes, we don't have BET pushing out good R&B, and we're not getting our radio stations doing that. But there's a lot of good music out there, and Andrea is one of them. So please search for her on all places where you look for your music, and hopefully we'll be able to get her back to do a live lounge and really showcase, you know, her raw vocals, that she's not just all on tape, but
Oh
she
yeah,
really can sing.
yeah. I got some raw vocals. Yes.
Yes. Okay. But it was definitely really good having you on, and you know, we definitely look forward to be able to see you again. And
Thanks for showing up. That's the important thing here. You've shown up. You know, we're so happy about that.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support, and Stevie, thank you for. I'm always seeing your name with my name on one of your playlists, and I love it. Thank you so much for the support. I'm here anytime you want me to be here.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
yes, it definitely is. Yeah, thanks for that. But as I said, if we think about it, if we hope we can get you back on, do a live lounge, and yeah, and go from there.
Okay, for sure.
Okay, take care.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, it looks as if she's got a lot of good, you know, a really good focus, and not just putting out there and hoping for the best. So, which
She's
is
very
really,
versatile. You know, I did go through some of them tracks, and there's quite a lot of styles going on there. But I did, like you said, as we suggested, I did realize there is a sound here that does really work for her. Maybe she could, you know, as much as we love New Jack Swing, it's about what, you know, her vocal, her songs, her sound, and we kind of established that in the conversation anyway. Hopefully, maybe she'll take some from that. Who knows? But best of luck
yeah,
to her, you know, best of luck.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. We wish her all the best, and yeah, we're definitely glad that she was able to join us today. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. On Sunday, it's Sheldon returns as we go for our top 10 favorite Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis track. That just seems the most scary. I mean,
Incredibly difficult.
it is going to be difficult. So it's just strange that we started with the hardest one, because Jimmy and Terry would be the hardest one.
What time we starting that tomorrow? Is it 9:30 or?
No, it's 9 East. It's 9 Eastern.
Oh, we could be going on until the early hours of the morning with that.
Yeah, yeah. It's 9 o'clock UK time, but it's 4 o'clock US time, Eastern time. And then next week is Jimmy and LA and Babyface, and then we round up with Teddy Riley. So it's going to be
Better
an
get a good
interesting.
night's sleep for that one.
Yeah, I'll keep the Bobby album out of it as much as I can. All right, Stevie. So we'll see you tomorrow. See you guys, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye bye.